So, hello. First of all, I want to tell you that today I have a big celebration. My third child has a birthday today, and he's 5 years old, and I just want to celebrate him, celebrate me, and celebrate that he's here for the last 5 years, and I was able to be his mom, and I will be his mom till the end of my life. I really happy to be mom. I remember my birth of my third child was a natural birth after 2 C-sections, and even so my doctors told me, oh, you can't have a natural birth after 2 C-sections. I decided that I am the one who will decide how it will be, and then I had a very beautiful orgasmic birth, and it was amazing. And this is something that inspired me also to talk about orgasms so much, and to talk about how women can experience during the birth not only the pain but also a huge pleasure, and how can you give a birth to the child from the pleasure but not from the pain, or pain and pleasure. So I will celebrate my son's birthday today, but also I want to tell you that this is my first live that I've done in English. I do this series of live for a while, and I would say that it's called Men Unfiltered. So it means that we open up some topics around relationship, sexuality, connection with ourselves, and also just to feel what's happening, what is really happening with us. But most of my clients are women, and I provide not only private sessions and workshops, but also retreats, and we travel all over the world. And I really wanted to provide more information, because sometimes in our psyche, in our mentality, the reaction for some connection, and the reaction of different situation in connection, in relationship, we have totally different perspective of men and women. So I started to collect a lot of information to be more useful, and to understand, and what about how can we see this situation not only from the side of women, but also from a side of men, and just to understand us more fully as just human beings that really wants to connect with each other, because we need each other. We really need each other. And so from the beginning, I've done a lot of these lives in Russian, and this is my first one in English. I hope my English is okay and you can understand me, because it's also a little bit vulnerable for me too. A lot of my friends that is English speaking that always ask me, Oksana, what do you do in these lives? What do you do in your social media? Because it's so interesting, something is happening there. I love your photos and video and some text, but I really don't understand what you are talking about, and I really want to know. So I decided that I want all of you to have a place and space that you know what do I do, and all the knowledge that I share will be accessible for everyone, not only for Russian-speaking clients. And for Russian-speaking clients, I have basically the same live every Wednesday at 3, and for English-speaking clients, it will be on Monday at 1. Every Wednesday, I will open up new topic, and every Monday, I'll do basically the same, but in English. I can say that I can't make the same things. So because a lot of time I feel like a channeling or something, all the information just come to me, and all the like clients' situations and my situation and my experience just sometimes comes in a moment, and sometimes I feel someone who will watch the video after, and I somehow I feel that they need this information, not that information. So if you really want to go deeper in that topic and to understand yourself more from that topic, just please go and watch 2 videos, because it's gonna be very interesting too. Sometimes what I do, if I have some question in my relationship, in my connections or something, I can also go and watch my video, not because my video is the most important, but sometimes I give some wisdom that I myself in my private life can't forget. So that's why I'm like, oh yes, let's take a look what is here. And today's topic is very, I would say, vulnerable, yes, and also very important, because tonight we are going into something that is most women have done, but almost no one talks about this honestly. And it's interesting because why don't we talk about this? Why don't we open up this conversation? And maybe my idea is to provide the space and for the people to feel more like open to being able to talk on such topic. And my topic today is, why does women fake an orgasm, and what happens to a man when she fakes it. Is it interesting? So the more importantly, what actually happened inside of man when she fakes it, why does she decide to pretend to fake an orgasm? And I would love to look at that situation, and that situation can be like during 10 years of marriage. It's not only like one night stand situation, it's a lot of time. It's like a long-term marriage when women just decide to fake an orgasm every time, and then maybe with years if she feels like in a cave, because now if she will open up, it will just show her dishonesty, and maybe it will fuck up the trust in the relationship. And this is the topic that women sometimes come to me to talk about this, because in our society we don't talk about this. And what will we do today is like, we will look at that from the perspective of women. What's happening with them? Why did they decide to do this? Why does they continue this? Oh my gosh, I need my English. And also from the perspective of science, what happened, what science says, and from the perspective of men, how man feels it, what's happening with men, and why this situation happened from the beginning. So what I do in my life, sometimes I just go to some date or somewhere, talking with a man. Oh, I have some man that is willing to talk with me about such a deep and intimate topic, and I ask them, what do you feel like when woman fakes it? Do you know about this? If you know about this, would you be willing to talk with her about that and just tell her, oh, I feel like something is off here. Did you fake it or not? So this is the thing that I love to talk with men and especially on the dates from time to time, just to understand their understanding of relationship, what's happening with them, and in that way to understand more how do we relate to each other. Yes, I can't say what's happening with men because I'm not man, but I can be curious, I can be open, I can just take a look and bring that information maybe to you, to women, to understand each other more and to find like more like a common ground with each other to make our relationship more better. So first of all, the research shows that somewhere between 50 to 70% of women have faked an orgasm at least once in their life. Can you imagine? And that is not small a number. Basically, every other or almost everyone faked orgasm in their life. And studies show that faking happens more often in long-term relationship than in casual sex. What do you think? Why? Feel on that. And please comment, tell me what do you think. I'm a very, very curious person that love to explore. So each time when you send me a message in a private message asking some questions or just want to discuss it, I really love it. So just let's talk about such a topic with each other, to being able just to open this up. So also, study point to a few common reasons why a woman fakes orgasm. First of all, it's like not wanting to hurt his feelings. So it's like I will hurt feelings of my partner if I will not come. And we will talk more deeply about this. First of all, I'll just tell you a couple of reasons that mostly I see on my sessions when clients come and I ask them how did you decide this? Why it's important? What is something that makes you do this for like 10 years? Like each time when you have sex, you have to basically do this. What is something that makes you do this? Like what is something important underneath? And another thing is wanting sex to end. So the feeling like if I will not come, he will continue making me an orgasm. I will have to deal with this, be with this. So basically, it's not very fun sex, and women just want to finish that sex with faking an orgasm. So another thing is like feeling pressure to perform. So it's like a feeling like, oh, I need to show up, to be very sexual, to be a good lover, and I will just fake it to show up that I'm amazing. Difficulty of reaching on our orgasm. So this is another thing that I see a lot. It's like a feeling that I need to connect basically with my not ability of having an orgasm and the connection to my body, and it's very painful. Usually it's very painful. I've been there. I know how painful it is when I can't experience orgasm, and everyone is talking about orgasm and I want that orgasm, but I just can't. So I would pretend, just because I don't want to connect with these feelings. I don't want to know about this. I just want to skip it to another time and just to show up that everything is great. So another thing is low sexual self-esteem. So I feel not sexual. I don't feel like I know what to do here. I feel like I don't want that sex. And also anxious attachment patterns. So when the person is very in connection with her partner, but in a way that she basically loses herself, and she just want that connection to be, because otherwise she feels very anxious around their connections. And this is just a reason, and usually those reason is something that people say they're like, oh, this is because of this. But basically, underneath of those reasons is always something deeper. So every time when you like wanted to take a look, oh, what's happening here? Why? If you will take a look deeper underneath, you will see that basically it's not the deepest reason why people do this. And mostly women fakes when she is afraid. And she is afraid to be too slow, that her partner is like trying his best and she can do this, and she is really worried that, oh, I'm too slow, I can do this. So she feels pressured and she can't achieve the orgasm from it. Or she feels like, I'm not normal, I'm not like other women, or he will not like me. And I remember that I have had a couple of times clients came to me with intention to have an orgasm during sex, but just not because she wanted the pleasure, but because she wanted to get married, and she thinks if she will not have a pleasure, if she will not get an orgasm, it means that he will not get her married. He will not be interested in building a relationship with her, building a marriage. That's why she needs to fix herself to be like more for marriage. And it's interesting. Sometimes we hear this and we're like, how come? Like, what? But this is how our mind works. This is how our society works. This is something that our society makes for us, like make us feel that we are not enough, that we needs to achieve something, we needs to be something, not just feel, not like, oh, I just want to experience that. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. I'm so curious. Let's take a look. Oh my gosh, how it will feel for me. Or what it's going to be. How it will feel with my intimacy with my partner. But instead of it, we're like, oh, judge ourselves. We judge how do we perform. We judge how do we connect. We judge, and it's easier because this is something that usually comes from our childhood trauma, where like our parents or some adult that is important, that were important in our life, were not very supportive, and instead they judge us. And now we are like here without this like important adult in our life, but we still do the same stuff to ourselves, and this is something that prevents us from real intimacy with our partner, because real intimacy is when I am truthful, when I bring to the space everything that is every of my worries, when I show up vulnerable, and sometimes I just don't know how to do this, but can you join me to this beautiful journey together, and then maybe I will not be able still to achieve this orgasm, but how interesting is this the process is, because in every moment when I welcome you here, I basically tell you, oh, I love you so much that I want you to be the one who will experience this with me. And even if we will not experience this, I will just be able to feel cared, to feel loved, to feel like I'm important in that moment for you, that much that you like willing to take a look, to be with me, to hold me if I feel any emotions, and I will hold you if you feel any emotions. And this is like a beautiful invitation to each other. How can we be there to each other? How can we be there, present and loved? And a lot of time also women are, a lot of our attention goes to the man, and I can say that it's only for some truths about women for men. Sometimes men do the same, but currently we are talking about faking an orgasm for women. And a lot of times she's very in a lot of attention to his emotions. She's afraid to lose him, so she's afraid that he'll feel like a vulture, that he will feel like a bad lover, not enough lover, and then maybe she will lose the connection. But most likely she is afraid, like not seeing his emotions. But a lot of time we are afraid to feel the emotions that will come because of his emotions. So can you imagine, like I am pretending because I don't want him to feel that, but in reality I don't want to feel what I'm gonna feel when he will show up with his emotions, because maybe I'll feel shame, I'll feel guilt, I'll feel fear of disconnection, and then it's very hard for me to stay with this emotion. So it's better for me to fake for 10 years than to connect with this emotion, or maybe to connect with the reality that my partner is not very emotionally available, that my partner is not there for me, that my partner really doesn't care if I have an orgasm or I don't have an orgasm. He is there for totally different reasons that I thought. So a lot of time we really afraid that he will lose an interest, or he won't choose me, like as my client who is afraid that like some partner will not choose her as a wife. And a lot of time we're like stuck in that fear, and that fear doesn't allow us to feel, to go to the intimacy that we all want. We all want the intimacy of on different levels, and it's not only emotional intimacy, it's not only sexual intimacy, it's also emotional intimacy, mental intimacy, bodily intimacy. It's a lot of different layers that we basically came here to this world to experience with another person. And my invitation is, sometimes, like when we do something in sex, when we pretend, to not judge ourselves, but to feel, why do I do this? What is in my relationship that I think that this will be good for my relationship? What is something happening in my relationship? Or maybe it's something, I feel a lack of something in my relationship that I feel like, this is something that brings peace to my relationship. But in facts, it can bring peace to you, because every time if I'm in long-term relationship, and every time when intimacy happens, every time when I have sex, I pretend, I fake this orgasm just because of my partner, just because I'm afraid to lose him, or anything. I basically close up to intimacy, and I have to do this every time, every moment, to pretend to make someone like happy. But in reality, he can't be happy with this, because it's not a real intimacy. Real intimacy, where is the truth? And where is the truth is something that can like come up with a beautiful connection, First, just connection, and then from that connection, orgasm can happen. Or even if it will not happen, but then I will build a beautiful relationship. But what about if I ask a man? So I asked I asked a man directly, what do you actually feel when a woman fakes an orgasm? And he answers like, I actually don't know if she fakes orgasm or not, because women can fake it, that he doesn't really know. Some people said, oh, I don't know, and some people said, oh, man doesn't need a woman to orgasm. They can do this alone, but what makes the sex meaningful for man is not his own orgasm, because he can orgasm anyway. It's her pleasure. And now in that moment, I know that we all feel like, a lot of women that came to me, they feel like, oh, it's a lot of pressure. So now I need to give him my pleasure, so he will feel good, or he will want me again. How can I do this? Yes. But then we continue our talk, and he said, for us, what brings us pleasure is knowing that we are bringing our lover pleasure. That's powerful, because when she fakes it, he thinks he succeeded. But if he finds out, and what about if he will find out this later? So I asked him, what about if you will find out, oh, she fakes it? And he told me, what about if she fakes it for 10 years, for 5 years, for a year? Doesn't really matter, but she did it. And he said, I would be crushed. I would feel crushed. I would be very, very upset. Not because of the ego, but because that means that there was no real communication. There was no real connection that makes us to talk about this, that makes her to trust me and be open to tell me the truth. So it means that in 10 years, we didn't really build it. And when I asked him about women who fake to protect a man's feelings, I asked him, what about if she just pretended because she wanted to protect your feelings? She wanted you to feel, I don't know, successful and good lover, and she was afraid that you will not feel it and it will just crush you. And he got quite angry about it, and he was like, who are you to manage my emotions? Well, that feels manipulative. And this is the thing, this life is not about judgment. It's not about like, oh, you see, if you will open up to your partner and tells him, oh, I actually faked it for years, and he will just, be crushed and will lose the trust and anything. It's always, how do you open up and how do you say it? And it's also about just connecting to the truth. What is my real relationship? How did I do this? And how did I feel making this every time? And where did I get this information that if the man will understand that he's not good in sex, or he doesn't know what to do, he will be crushed. He will feel like a bad man. I also asked him, what about, have you ever experienced that someone told you, oh, the sex wasn't really good? And he told me, yes, I experienced some women told me that I'm not good in sex, and what happened? And he was like, I just got better in sex. And this is, it feels like quite simple, because it feels like, oh, every time when I'm truthful, I basically give an opportunity to a man to grow. Every time when I'm truthful, I give him ability to be in his power, and just bringing the truth to the space doesn't mean to destroy anyone. And if I feel like I can destroy the grown man because I will tell him, oh, I can't come, or I can experience orgasm with him, do you really feel like you see that person as a grown man or as a small a small boy who can't who can't be with his emotions and can't come up with idea what to do with this situation. So in that way, why do I continue this relationship of like me as an adult woman with a small baby, a small boy in front of me? So this is how I see my spouse. This is how I see my partner. So let's breathe in together. We talk so much about such a deep stuff, and I want us to just to breathe in and breathe out, and just to feel that sometimes we all can be untruthful in our relationship. It's not about like cheating or something else, but just to telling something that our partner wants to hear, or we think that he wants to hear. We really don't know, or we just pretend in different kind of situation. And sometimes we pretend without really understanding that we do this over again and again, or we pretend because we are so afraid of his emotions and our emotions over his emotions, because we don't want to feel like we don't keep the peace in our marriage. But the reality is that every time when I'm not truthful, I basically do not keep the peace within myself, not in the marriage but within myself. Because when I think that it's like it should be like a choice between peace in a marriage and peace inside of me, or in not only in a marriage but in any relationship, if I feel that there's a choice between peace in the marriage and peace in myself, why it is a difference, why it should be a difference between both of them, why it is a question from the beginning. My peace is in my relationship. I am a peace on that relationship if I am truthful there, if I really open up, if I really open to show up who I am. So to summarize what men feel, what happened to a man when a woman fakes, if he doesn't know, he believes everything is fine. If he suspects, he questions the communication. If he finds out years later, trust is damaged. And why do we put ourselves in such a situation that is basically not needed for a man? Not for every man. Maybe some men just really need this comforting of their ego. But most of men, they really love trust and your pleasure. And the pleasure is not only the orgasm, but pleasure is just a connection. Sometimes pleasure is just to feel heard or seen or touched in a way that you really, really want. And this is something that changes all the relationship. And also, this is not about orgasm. This is about fear of being real, fear of disappointing, people pleasing, losing connection with your body. And when woman fakes orgasm, she disconnects from her breath, from her nervous system, from her body, from her truth. Because each time when she needs to do this, basically she needs to turn on something in her more into her mentality, and just to feel, okay, I just need to do something to finish this, to show up that I'm good enough, to, I don't know, all these reasons that she has in her mind. And I'm sure that some of them I just don't know, and I would really want to know more and more about this, because I feel like this topic, that is something that we need to open up more. And the problem is, when I start investigate this situation, I saw that this message that we need to fake, that we need to show up something, it comes not from men, but mostly women to women, when they bring, like when our moms, when our grandmoms bring the message that you have to please your man, you have to show up, you have to make a peace at your home, you have to women's pleasure are not achievable, it's just not for everyone, so just show up, it doesn't really matter, the most important that he's like this. And the sad thing is just we are doing this to each other. And I really want to break up this cycle where we continue doing this, because each time when we continue, we basically also welcome our children to the same story, that this is a weak man that can handle any situation, and this is like a woman that can't feel pleasure. And why? Like, the reality is that we live in a different year. Currently, a lot of things are available, and like for men, a lot of men who comes to me, they come to learn how to please the woman, how to he comes for tools, for understanding how to connect. And it's so beautiful. And every time when we fake, we don't give him this beautiful opportunity to learn, to be better in sex, to be curious about our orgasm and our pleasure, and to be more open. And the same it is for us. There is a lot of tools how to achieve an orgasm, different kind of orgasm. I'm working on a book, 12 types of orgasm for women, and 12 types of orgasm. Can you imagine? And it's so beautiful. We can just, learn our body and just every year have a different orgasm. This is something that I've done with myself. Every year have a different orgasm, and every year to put in a year to explore, to be curious, to find out what do I really love, what do I really want, and open up to the opportunity to share this with your lover, with your partner, husband, with anyone you've seen. So it's a lot of tools, and it's available. It's nothing that is like hiding in a secret anymore. It's something that you can have it. And this is something that I'm helping with my women and my man who comes for help to understand how does this work. And sometimes I do like a beautiful tantric evenings for couple where they can explore it even more through the different tantric practices and the connection practices and intimate practices, and it's beautiful. So every time when she needs to fake, basically she moves into performance mode. And here is the sentence that really matters. When a woman fakes orgasm, she's not only faking the pleasure, she's faking herself. She needs to reconnect, detach to herself to do this. So how come we do this to ourselves? How come we learn to pretend being alive? How come we believe that this is an intimacy, a real intimacy? How come we decided that faking is real life? It's a love to your partner. Can we, in that moment, I welcome you, in that moment, just really feel what is the reality? What is your reality? When do you feel that it is my reality? This is my truth, instead of showing up instead to be enough, to show up, to perform, to be comfortable for your partner, even if he didn't ask you about that. And the intimacy without honesty is just a performance. Because we can't go to intimacy without the honesty, without the truth. Oh. And I would say that this topic raises much more deeper conversation that I really want us to continue with. And what about the bigger question is, what happens to male desire when a woman performs instead of feels? What can a man handle a woman who doesn't orgasm? And why is it so hard for women to ask what they need and even to understand what they need? And is orgasm becoming a performance metric instead of a moment of connection? So if I perform, do I lose the moment to connect? Do I? And some of the question I will open up in our next live. I'll have a live on Wednesday in Russian, and I will have a live on Monday in English. And yes, and each time when I will open up some topic, I really welcome you to ask me some questions, to bring some topics that is vulnerable for you. It's totally private if you don't want to show up and to show your vulnerability in front of everyone, but you can send me a private message with some questions, or you could come to a live and I can make like a small mini session that is for free for you to see more openly, see more deeply what's happening with you. Why do you do these choices? Also, I usually open up the space for everyone who feels like that this topic is something that bothering them, or another topic around intimacy, sexuality, around connection to yourself, or a relationship that bothers you. You can come for 30 minutes free session just to take a look and at least to get more deeper answer what's happening with you and how do you feel in your connection, or how do you feel in your disconnection. So tell me more if you like this live. This is my first time in English, so I feel a little vulnerable and I feel like, I don't know if my English is good enough, you see. So tell me any review, anything that you want to share. I'm open, I'm here for you who doesn't know me. I'm Oksana Zhabyuk, I'm certified sex coach, tantra teacher. I'd love that. Yes, you can send me a private message. I'm a tantra teacher and also a facilitator for family constellations and tantra yoga teacher. And also currently I'm going through MFT program in the university to get my license in psychology. So I really deep in this topic. I'm working with clients for the last 7 years through the private sessions, mostly with women, but also with the men and couples. And also I provide retreats all over the world and different workshops and beautiful online courses. Just follow me, just know more about me, ask me questions. And if someone that you know that is going through that kind of question in his or her life, just send that video to them, and so it could be more helpful for them. So love you, connect. I'm happy to connect, and I just hope that you have an amazing day with full of orgasms or not.